Hey everyone, this is David with Revisto. Wanted to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join me in this quick learning session video. Wanted to mention that as our BDC team at Revisto begins to ramp up more content for the new year, I wanted to provide a foundation for you and to allow you to make sense of our new Revisto 5 features and how each role becomes integral to the process in Revisto. This really Revisto 101 video will allow you to understand how to interact with new Revisto 5 tools and with provided examples that I'll be covering today. This is just going to be typical interaction between project roles using the new tools and how to get data into the hands of the user quickly and efficiently. As we continue to share our library's worth of new content, please continue to refer to these short 101 videos as a benchmark to make more sense of the complex workflows and logic that goes behind them that our BDC team and I will cover in the future. But for today, we will be covering just these highlighted icons here at the top here that I'm highlighting with my mouse. And these are really just around the new Revisto 5 features that are typically dealt with in 3D, and how are we interacting with them, and who is interacting with them. So really understanding this information from left to right is where I'm going to go with it. So the object tree itself here is a search of information, and really searching any information that is contained within your model. This is typically going to be done through a BDC engineer, someone who is more of an advanced Revisto user, and being able to search anything out of the model itself via something as simple as framing, and extracting that information straight from the object tree itself, not having to turn everything off completely, trying to turn layers off or parts of a model that you would normally see in a different program. Here it's just a quick search, right click, isolate it. I have that information in front of me. Oh, what is this property information, containing information like that? Can I just select on this individual object? Can I view that information and focusing on it a little bit better? Where is this item located? Something is detailed, as a structural framing piece or a unique specialty item. We can bring that information forth. We can bring that information to the folder of the user, and how to go ahead and begin grabbing that information and handing it out to those specific roles. So again, really tying a piece to what we're going to be doing here. How does that handoff information occur? So coming back to the main view here real quick, resetting my view of what we're looking at. I want to begin really taking that information and like I said, handing it off to a field engineer, someone who is of not BDC, but needs to have an awareness or an understanding of certain items that may occur within the tool. So what you're going to do here is you're going to utilize the object tree, your find objects tool to continue filtering, and you're going to move in. You're going to bring that over into a search set. And as you see here, I have different folders already that have specific functions to them that are existing. So there's to give you a better understanding of what functions can these search sets fulfill. What's the purpose behind them? So now that we have our three windows open, our object tree, our find objects, and our search sets, you think of this as sort of a 1, 2, 3 step way of bringing information out. And you can be very complex or very simple with this type of information. I'm going to maintain it in just a conversation of being simple. So here I already have a distribution boards search set that's already built out. And if I click on that, I can already see how that information was already selected. We will touch on other search sets in here to show you similarly how they built as well in a more complex fashion. But for now, I want to say that what was done here is it's as simple as typing out distribution board, searching for that information, holding that down at that selection, and saving that as a search set via the search set button right here, and update exactly with what's here that you see on the bottom. So now that I have this information shown and saved as a search set, and again, one quick simple search over to the Find Objects tool to make it into a search set, I can utilize that information that's set there and open up my selection inspector. And again, I reconfirmed and I clicked on that search to refresh with what's there. looks like I have two pieces of information. In this case, we can take this as specialty equipment. We could take this as an owner-furnished item. We could take this as anything that the project team needs to make an awareness of. And so this is becoming sort of that list that becomes more relevant. As you see, we've moved from a tree of information down to just what you need to take out of it, out of the model, into the selection inspector itself here. And so now what we can do is, from a VDC standpoint or a Revisto advanced user standpoint, you can take this information, I can take this down, I can create a stamp off this, and I can say, all right, I have a distribution board stamp, I'm going to place it on. Doesn't matter where you're placing this one on, it could be just be on the model itself here. I already have a preset in the issue tracker here that is already navigating to owner items. I can go ahead and check this information, and within here, it is already guiding me to those specific parts and pieces of the model here. And as you see, property information that's shown on this information here, and I can even be a little bit more aware of what this actually is and provide a little bit more context. For example, I can take a distribution board here off the internet, move it over here to the chat, being able to provide a link to these issues itself within that issue of what actual distribution boards they may be, items like that. So again, as a way of communicating these items, is what I've did is simply is I've built a search set, I've created those stamps for those distribution boards themselves, and I've created the issue. Think of this handoff of information as creating that stamp originally as a publish to the issue for those responsible party team members, for them to navigate to the model themselves. So they themselves are not actually navigating to the model. The issues themselves are helping them navigate through the model. While we're here within the issue, users still have the ability to freely move around the model, around the issue, to be able to look at any neighboring information that may be related or like to inspect around the actual focused issue. Something as simple as a wall, for instance, and utilizing the property information that's also available here as well, as it is in 3D. But being able to also have those templated different pieces of information out, such as where I was on here for VDC, and being able to choose something as specific as walls, and being able to bring out and pull out the information of that wall that is most important to the user themselves. So as you begin to think your own workflows and what you'd like to bring out as your own relevant information, whether it be for a specific field engineer or whether the focus what may be, you can create those templates within the properties and bring them out to bring the most important pieces of that information out. Okay, now that we're still along the lines of handing information over from VDC to field, let's pick up another exercise where the function will be the same, but the purpose may be a little different. In this case, let's move back to 3D. We'll go ahead and refer back to what I have here on my search sets themselves. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to utilize the punch list search sets here. So here I've created a search with my Find Objects tool, pulling back up this Find Objects and explaining a little bit what I touched on earlier, that you can build search sets a little bit more complex and being able to bring information out. Let me isolate this in transparency for you, to specifically pull out information of the model in one defined level, one defined area, however your project is based around. You can build that unique search set with that information shown here. So what I'd like to do is with everything that's shown here, I have a search set that's ground level interior doors. So we have this under the punch list search set. So what we need to do is let's go ahead and publish this over to the issue tracker for that punch listing to begin. So I'll open up my selection inspector, select the search set that I've selected already, double checking that it is on the correct floor. Let me make sure that I am on the correct template. As I see, all my doors are corresponding on the correct level that I'd like for them to be looked at. And for the sake of time, I'm just going to go ahead and take a few of them. Now that I have my selection set, I want to begin creating my stamp off of the selected items within my selection inspector. Typically, these items would be selected all together as a group themselves, but for the sake of time, I'd like to go ahead and just select just these few to get them over into the issue tracker. And instead of creating one stamp like I did earlier, I can select multiple stamps. Create the corresponding stamp for interior metal doors that I've selected. I can create my 25 stamps off this information. And as it's being published into the issue tracker ready for handoff, I can show you that within my presets here, I have a ground level punch list item. And instead of showing my the issue that I created earlier with my items that are contained within one issue, as I showed with the distribution boards, I can open up a ground level punch list items, and now they're broken out into their individual pieces, being able to create those more interactive checklists, as you see here. So what I can do from here is still open up that issue, open up these items with their property information shown, being able to access anything off of those items, but still be able to add more information to these items for those punch listing exercises. So I can go ahead and add a custom property. I can add an install date, do a data entry, enter a value, today's date, 28, 20. And as you see here, now there's hard entry of an install date of specific pieces and items, this one just being simple as doors on my ground level. But you can also add more context to them if needed as well. Just to give you some more insight on how some more of our custom properties work, we can also add a material damage. We can add a yes or no value to this information. We can say yes. And what I can do here is I can go back to my issue very quickly. There is an icon here that allows me to choose an appearance template, and I'll touch on this shortly here. But I can turn on that template with that yes value that I had on here. Open this information up again with my property. Now that I've confirmed yes, the model will reflect that information to show that yes, that is an item that has been reported damaged on site, or verifying and visualizing that there has been a change to this part of the model that needs to be looked further in on. To top off this exercise, users also have the ability to post photos straight from their iPads as well. So as they're on site, they verify this information is correct or incorrect. Hardware is installed, doors installed, there's damage. Let's add a photo from the iPad and let that live in the issue itself until it's resolved. Moving back to the 3D space now. A couple other things that you can note on is really the logic behind taking the object tree, the find objects tool, and the search sets are the three main tools like I've touched on before to bring that information out, but not only just from VDC to field, but you can also do VDC to coordination and bring up anything that could be back checking for clash coordination, such as searching your MEP penetrations and searching from where they're at in the model. Are there actual clashes there that are occurring within the model by opening up this in the selection inspector and being able to view and navigating to those specific clashes within the model itself and making an issue out of them. So being able to assist with those clash detective exercises and making sure that we're avoiding any instances that may be overlooked inside Navisworks. That's a quick note to touch on there. So as a wrap up and to summarize our video, be able to understand of who takes what within these features. Again, object tree, typically for those who are familiar with Revisto or a VDC type person to bring information out and who are familiar with the model. Property information. This can be geared towards VDC or an advanced user setting up these templates, and field engineers, supers, project managers being able to access their personalized template to see what information they'd like to view on those objects. Find objects tool to bring information out further from the object tree over to create a search set, typically advanced Revisto user or a VDC type person. Utilizing search sets. Search sets are really to hand off information to any role within the project and is geared towards that specific person or role. It could be anything from VDC coordination to VDC field for an owner. You name it, the options are limitless here on how or who this information needs to get to. And the selection inspector itself, being able to bring up information and choosing specifically what you'd like to be published over to the issue tracker. And within the issue tracker would contain information that is for the rest of the team. So those teams who are used to just viewing information in the issues themselves and navigating the model only that way. Typically for those entry-level users, those who are new to Revisto, not really geared towards moving into 3D just yet, but enough to get the information that they need and to get out of the tool. So again, this was just a quick 101 video. Please let me know if you'd like a more in-depth on how to when you're first getting into the tool. Be more than happy to help set that up for you. But again, as we continue to build new content, please again refer to these short 101 videos that we'll be making over time to use as a foundation and to make more sense of the more complex videos that we will be creating in the future. Thank you everyone and have a good day.